Make America great again.
Make America great again.
Make America great again, I think, is the greatest phrase ever used in politics, right?
November, when 40-year-old Tamla Horsford was found dead in the backyard of a home in Cumming, and now...
It was a birthday party down in Georgia. A gathering of football moms and their husbands looking to cut loose for a night away from the kids. And cut loose they did. However, by morning, one of them was dead. Tamla Horsford was found lying face down in the yard. As to how it happened exactly, though, that's the million-dollar question. Now, officials are sticking to the story that it was just an accident. Too much to drink, a fall from a balcony, so case closed. But the thing about it is, nothing in this story really adds up. And the injuries to her body don't match the story. Evidence was mishandled. The witness accounts contradict one another. And the lead investigator? Well, he shared crime scene photos with his mistresses and mockingly called the dead woman porch lady. On top of all that, Tamla just so happened to be the only black person at the party. A party that took place in a county with one of America's most notorious histories of racial violence.
In a Georgia high school gym, a student vanished. The next day, he was found, head first, inside a rolled-up wrestling mat. The official story said accident, but the evidence said something else. His organs were missing. Surveillance footage was altered. And 10 years later, we're still asking, what really happened to Kendrick Johnson?
Shanquilla Robinson went to Mexico with her friends. She arrived early on Friday the 28th, and her family says the next morning she was dead.
Shanquilla was a 25-year-old entrepreneur from Charlotte, North Carolina. Many knew her as Quilla, who ran a very successful hair extension and braiding business. She also owned a women's clothing boutique called The Exquisite Boutique. October 28, 2022, Shanquilla took a trip to Cabo, Mexico, but what was supposed to be a fun girls trip soon turned deadly, and within 24 hours of their arrival, Shanquilla would be dead. Shanquilla spoke to her mother the night of her arrival, letting her know that she arrived safely and was ready to go out to dinner with her friends. The trip seemed to be going great. However, the next day, her mother received a frantic call from her friend Khalil, stating that Shanquilla was resting and was not feeling well after throwing up from a hangover. Shanquilla's mother asked Khalil to keep her informed and to have her daughter call her when she gets better. Instead, he calls back to let her know that paramedics were at the villa and they tried to help Shanquilla, but it was too late. She had passed away from alcohol poisoning. He also claimed that the maid found her unconscious in her living room. After that dreadful phone call, the friends quickly rushed out of Mexico and headed back to the U.S. The story did not sit well with Shanquilla's family. They demanded more clarity. Shanquilla's friends decided to stop by her parents' home to drop off her belongings and explain exactly what happened on a trip.
Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories.
The families decided to make calls to the FBI and the Mexican authorities, and they quickly learned of another potential cause of death. When the autopsy came back, it said that Shanquilla's death didn't have anything to do with the alcohol. In fact, there was no alcohol in her system. It was reported on the autopsy that Shanquilla had a broken neck and her spine in the back was cracked. Photos released to the family showed Shanquilla's face was swollen, she had a knot on her head, her eyes were swollen, and her lips were split. This took the case to a whole nother level because it meant that someone attacked her. Her sister Keela Long revealed in an interview that the family had received several phone calls from people in Mexico who claimed that a physical fight took place where Shanquilla was beaten up. They were informed that Shanquilla was jumped on and that her friends were the ones who beat her up. But all of her friends denied the accusations, and so the family went on to believe the alcohol poisoning claims. Her sister also recalled Shanquilla's best friend Khalil seemed to be nervous when he met the family. She says, "Now that stuff done happened, I go back and say that's why he was pacing. I mean, you would have thought he was coming off something like he was high. He was nervous, he was sweating, and he was grabbing his beard. It had to be eating him up." Well, a disturbing video of what really happened to Shanquilla has gone viral across all social media platforms. It is one of the most chilling and heart-wrenching things to watch. In the gruesome video, a naked Shanquilla is being punched in the head slung to the ground, and viciously beaten up by one of her friends, Dejani Jackson. At one point, she drags her down to the ground and stomps on her head. Absolutely no one intervenes or tries to aid her in any way. Instead, they are cheering on the aggressor, and the man who was recording the fight could be heard saying, "At least fight back." And at one point, Shaquilla says no, she isn't fighting back. The gruesome clip is about 30 seconds long, but you can imagine the abuse that she suffered in the hands of her friends. There are so many unanswered questions. Did they lure her to Mexico just to kill her?